looking at some oils, and I would say most people to use a 40 grade on their engine. A 50 could be a good choice for track use, or if the car is extremely highly modified. There's also 1060 available, but I don't suggest using that. I just don't think it was going to flow very well. It's a bit too heavy. 540 is a nice grade. There's a 1540, look, and that's just a mineral. There's no problem with any of these oils. All modern oils are far superior to when the car was built in 1987, or when it first came out. The specifications of any oil you buy, even from supermarkets, in their own brands, there's absolutely no issue. Of course, something like this Mobil 1 040 is quite expensive, but you just don't need to spend the money on such stuff. I would suggest changing, buy a respectable oil, and change it often. All the specs, even this mineral, you see the specs it meets are well up there with all the current top spec. People do say I'm not buying supermarket oil or the cheaper brands, the own brands. Just bear in mind that these specifications that you'll see on oils, they are quite the testing methods that they have to send the oil off to be tested and approved. It's an expensive business, and supermarket oils, they don't make it. It's a top manufacturer supplying the supermarkets with their own branding. So don't worry too much. Now, looking at the W figure, there's a 15. That's your winter rating, so that's how well the oil will flow under the cold conditions in winter. It's measured at 0 degrees C. So the lower the the lower the W figure, the better it will flow when you first start the engine. And that's important. Most wear occurs when the engine is cold. Your second figure then, that's the actual grade of the oil, the thickness of the oil at operating temperature. So all of these, 040, 540, and there's a 15, all of these will be the same viscosity at operating temperature, around about 100 C, a little bit less hopefully, but they're all the same. People will ask the average person in the street, which oil is thinner between these, and they'll all say, "Oh, this is too thin for some engines." Well, no, it's the same. It's a 40. It's a 40. This is thinner oil when you pour it out the bottle, because it's a thinner oil. But what happens is, as it's subjected to heat, it doesn't thin out as much. So at 100 C, it's classed as a 40 grade, whereas this oil starts off a bit thicker, and as it heats up, it thins out more, but still manages to be in that 40 range at operating temperature. So this doesn't flow as well when cold compared to the 0W. But once you're up there, warmed up, it's the same grade. Or within that same range. Slight variation with each grade. So a slight allowance allowed. But anyway, like I said, don't overthink it. Buy what's good value. Fully synthetic. If you can afford it, it's quite often not really any different in price. You know, if I had a choice between buying an own brand fully synthetic and a top brand semi-synthetic, I would always go for the supermarket brand or the car shop brand, just because it is better oil. Like I say, it's going to be rebottled from a major manufacturer. If you have an engine that it's not been apart for years, it could even be, never been touched, original engine, I would recommend removing the sump, having a good look inside there and cleaning it up, because the bottom of sumps can be quite nasty with many years of old oil. You can get a sort of sludgy layer at the bottom of the sump. So I'd certainly recommend, you would need to buy a new sump gasket. But it's certainly worth looking to clean that sump out before you start putting good oil into your engine. Well, I say good oil, like I say, it's all good these days, but if you want to make sure it's as clean as possible in there.